Hi, I'm Tom Brewster and my robot is Monsoon. For me, rewinding even further back before Robot Wars, one of my favourite toys growing up was Lego. Mainly Lego Mindstorms, and that was the Lego Robotics set that I think they only just recently discontinued. And I used to have great fun with that and just programming robots to do weird things. And I built one with tracks one time that drove over my dad's car. I put it on his bonnet and I wanted to see if I could get it to go up his windscreen, over the top and off the back, and more importantly, if it would survive the landing off the back. It did not, but I learnt a lot from the thing, so yeah, that was fun. I remember watching the show when I was younger and thinking, a lot of those robots have just been built by kids and their dads in sheds. It looks like anyone could do it. I could do that. Come on, Dad, please, let's get into it, let's give it a go. But purely back then, I think it was a case of he didn't take me seriously, I was too small, you know, I was a little kid. But when the reboot came along, it honestly did not take much to get him into it. So the robot we've got today, realistically, is maybe the 6th mainline iteration of the heavyweight robots that I've always built, starting with Tauron 1, 2, 3, Monsoon 1, 2 and 3. But even in the very first version of Tauron, it had that pivoting weapon section. It only lasted about 5 seconds, but again, I learnt a lot in those 5 seconds. And from there, we've evolved the robot further and further. It's now way smaller than it's ever been. I think you could probably fit maybe 2 complete Monsoons in the body of the first Tauron. It's a bit silly how big that first one was. A lot of my friends referred to it as SS Tauron. It was massive. The robots themselves have evolved massively to fight different opponents. When you're fighting other vertical spinners, a lot of the time you want to win the ground game, so we have these pointy forks at the front of the robot, and on top, of course, we have different length forks to fight different opponents. For fighting big horizontal spinners, we've got a great big wedge there, because when you're fighting a horizontal with a vertical spinner, you don't want them to clip the side of your blade, and with us, because of the whole pivoting mechanism, we're somewhat vulnerable to horizontal spinners, as we found out a few very nasty times. So we've got this enormous wedge. We've also got this little tiny wedge we call the snoot. That really is for something like Zadkiel. It's for fighting people that don't have a ground game. It's something to have at the front of the robot for us to be planted on when you hit someone, and just to guarantee that you're going to get underneath them. We've also got this enormous 21 kilo flywheel that we only bring out in special occasions. It's the most devastating weapon we've got, and the problem with that is that gyroscopic forces are so intense that it's really hard to steer, and if we ever do use it again, you'll see the robot lifting off the floor quite substantially. Even at 125 miles an hour, it is substantial. Admittedly, I would say seeing something like this can maybe a little daunting in terms of getting into the sport, but to be honest, absolutely anybody can do it. When I got started with my dad, the first thing we did is we made a CAD model, which was a cardboard-aided design version of the robot, and that was basically a little triangle and a toothpick and a little cardboard bar, just to lay out how the robot might look and get some ideas. And the first thing we did is I spent a weekend with my dad and we actually built a wooden prototype of the robot. Before learning any of the CAD skills or the welding skills, any of that, we just made this thing with our hands. It was a wooden frame and a bit of MDF on top, and I've got some great footage of my dad actually sitting on it and we're driving it around in the local park just to check, because one human is actually not too dissimilar to the weight of a fighting robot. So that was a really good, valid test actually. And from there, things have evolved further. So I've always built the robots within the limitations of the tools that I've got access to. So I don't at home have a CNC mill, I don't have a laser cutter, that sort of thing. So over the years, as my design experience has improved, my robots are designed to be generally laser cut from sheet metal, flat pack, IKEA furniture style. So those will be cut somewhere else, folded generally, and I'll do all the welding myself here, the welding and the grinding here.